All right. What's up, everyone? It's Aztec 101 in the ring. And, I want to talk about Billy Joe Saunders. What he did this weekend, I think, opened a lot of eyes. Uh, Performing the way he did against David Lemieux. You know, I was really impressed. But I think that I've underestimated Billy Joe Saunders. I don't think that Billy Joe Saunders did anything different or anything spectacular. I don't know if you guys can hear the booms outside, but that's Disneyland. Every fucking night, it sounds like, we're getting hit by bombs. But if you stand outside and you actually get a good view, you can see the fireworks. Um, Anyways, Billy Joe Saunders, I think I underestimated um, his ability, his ring IQ, um, what he's able to do. Because walking into the fight, I seriously thought Lemieux had this was a good fight. I thought the Lemieux had a chance walking into it. But after round two, there's levels to this, and Billy Joe Saunders is definitely a high level middleweight. He has um, he has attributes that I think will give him an advantage against top middleweights, especially his footwork. His footwork is on point. Um, he's very comfortable when he switches positions and he finds these angles. Um, he's never really in a corner or along the ropes. He stays circling around the center of the ring, and he fights at a distance. His jab is good. I saw him switch stances against Lemieux, but I don't know if he's fluent fighting with both hands as a lead hand, but he seemed pretty comfortable. Now, I don't know if that was because he was just dominating Lemieux and he felt he could do whatever he wanted to, or if it's something that he's mastered. But I haven't really seen him come out like Terrence Crawford, switch positions, switch stances, and fight the whole fight. You know, either orthodox or southpaw in different fights. But his position right now is what I want to talk about. His position now that he made a statement with Lemieux. Where does this put him? He's already champion. So the opportunity is there for him to get a Triple G fight, for him to get a Canelo fight. Now, I think that Canelo and Triple G is going to happen. The rematch is going to happen. It's going to happen soon. They're going to get it out of the way as their next fight. I think it's just going to be, what we would expect for a Cinco de Mayo fight. But after that, there's going to be some interest from both fighters to take on Billy Joe Saunders. Especially if he keeps performing like this. I think a lot of people are expecting Triple G to just take on Billy Joe Saunders and try to become undisputed right now. But I think there's a chip on his shoulder. He does have the Canelo fight. And at the end of the day, even if he's to retire right now, there's blemishes in his record with Canelo and Daniel Jacobs. Daniel Jacobs, he still has a win against Daniel Jacobs. But there's a draw there. And I think that Gennady Golovkin is the type of fighter that would want to get rid of that blemish, come in, fight Canelo, get that out of the way, and then go after Billy Joe Saunders. And I don't think Canelo's going to want to fight, for a title to get Triple G because he doesn't really have to. Triple G will welcome that fight. So it only makes sense that either Saunders is going to have to wait as far as not take a fight until their schedules are open, or he might have to take a tune-up in between. Regardless, I'm excited for Saunders' career at 160 because he's a wild card there. The way he moves is going to cause a lot of problems for Triple G. It'll cause problems for Daniel Jacobs. It'll cause problems for Canelo. I think that Billy Joe Saunders just has, just these sharp reflexes that would match better at 154. These guys at 154, I think, are a little bit faster. They might be able to keep up with the pace that Billy Joe Saunders gives. But at 160, a lot of these guys are fighting like their feet are stuck in cement. And they're slow. And he's able to take advantage of that. And Triple G is one of those fighters. I think Billy Joe Saunders will do very well, if not beat Triple G. I think with the attributes that he has, aside from knowing how tough his chin is, how well he's able to take punishment if it comes. But there could be a good chance that he walks away from a Triple G fight clean, especially if he moves and he's as sharp as he was against Lemieux. Triple G knows one way to fight, and that's applying a tremendous amount of pressure for all 12 rounds. He wants to break you down. He won't, here's the thing. I don't think Triple G is very good at cutting off the ring against guys that move intelligently. Not just move for the sake of moving, but I mean intelligently moving. Triple G, he's intelligent. He's very smart. He's able to cut off the ring on some of these guys that have slow feet. But he had a very hard time with Canelo, and Canelo isn't known to have the fastest feet in the world. And he could not cut off the ring against Canelo. Why? Because Canelo would also counter with some heavy shots that made Triple G think twice about closing the distance. I think Billy Joe Saunders he's fully capable of duplicating the game plan and doing it in his own style. He's not going to be fighting the fight like Canelo did, putting himself in danger along the ropes, allowing Triple G to tee off, and then countering. I think Saunders will be a lot more mobile. If Triple G fans think that Canelo was running, well, Saunders, he's going to do a lot more. He's going to have a lot more movement. And that kind of movement, I think, will be a problem for Triple G. I think it'll be a problem for Triple G. As far as Saunders versus Canelo, I think will be a very interesting fight. I think Saunders has the footwork that can make it complicated for Canelo. But I also think that his speed could cause problems for Canelo. I think, Canelo is used to fighting a lot of these guys at 154. He has experience fighting the smaller fighters that are faster, sharper, right? But the entire package of being not just fast, but also a good boxer, solid boxer, right? And you pack a punch, right? And you're not a small fighter. So with Triple G, there was certain things he could take advantage of. Triple G's speed was probably something that gave Canelo an advantage, being able to see those punches coming, right? But with Billy Joe Saunders, just the speed that he has, I think might cause a problem for Canelo. He's just going to have a harder time seeing those punches. And he does get hit flush. He got hit flush with Amir Khan. He was getting hit flush with Miguel Cotto. A lot of these guys that have fast hands and good footwork. So Saunders, I think, would pack a heavier punch than any of those guys. So this could be a problem for Canelo. Even Daniel Jacobs, Daniel Jacobs, I think, will have problems with Billy Joe Saunders. I think he'll have problems with his footwork. Jacobs does not have very good feet. He may move fast, you know what I mean, but he's a little clumsy. And I have a feeling that the angles that Billy Joe Saunders gives, could cause problems. Here's the thing, though. Saunders has the ability, I think, to put up a good fight or beat any one of these guys. The same way I think it could go the other way around. Jacobs is, I think, the most brutal fighter out of anybody on the top four. Anybody from Triple G, Canelo, Saunders. I think Jacobs is probably the more brutal fighter. He's there to cause pain. He's there to knock you out, finish the fight. He's not there to touch you up. He's not there to dance. He wants to bust you up, right? And that kind of aggressiveness, I think, is kryptonite to a fighter like Saunders. Stylistically, Jacobs might be the worst matchup. Hopefully, we see unification here, because someone's going to walk away with all the belts after the rematch between Canelo and Triple G. And I mean, if Triple G ends up walking out with a victory, Billy Joe Saunders could walk away with all the belts. He could be undisputed real quick. I think he has a way better chance of beating Triple G. And then he could get that shot with Canelo. If Canelo walks away with all the belts, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at the end of the day. I think Billy Joe Saunders is in a good position. He made a statement. He fought one of Golden Boy fighters. He's negotiated. He's talked with Golden Boy. He has a business relationship already with Golden Boy based on this fight. I think that it'll be really easy to make the Canelo fight, and also making the Triple G fight. I don't see why Triple G wouldn't take that fight. He wants to become undisputed. I just think that he's going after Canelo because he should. He should go after Canelo. Fans were asking for it, and it's funny because for a while people were asking for the fight, coming to the conclusion that either Triple G was scared of Canelo or Canelo was scared of Triple G. But there was interest. People were thinking about the fight. They were asking for it. And then, when it came down to getting closer to the date that we were hearing, 2017, we were hearing this date. We've been hearing it since 2015. And we didn't believe it, right? A lot of boxing fans did not believe it. And I can't say we, because I thought this fight was definitely going to happen. And it did. It happened just a few months ago. And right before the fight was finalized and officially, promoted, people were saying, hey, Triple G should just stop chasing Canelo and go after Billy Joe Saunders. And then once the fight was made, a lot of people were still on that bandwagon, saying that Triple G should fight, Billy Joe Saunders. So there's been interest for the past 3 years to see what Triple G would do and what Billy Joe Saunders would do. Because Billy Joe Saunders didn't really look that excited. He had his opening to make that fight with Triple G. He had an opportunity. The field was wide open. Billy Joe Saunders could have fought Triple G instead of Kell Brook. That fight could have been made very easily. Saunders didn't want to do it. And maybe it just wasn't the right time for him. But if he's comfortable now, I think the fans are aching for it. They want to see the middleweight division unify. And they want to see these top fighters fight each other. And I think they'll forgive a rematch between Canelo and Triple G. But after that, they're going to want to see the Charlo. They want to see Charlo mix it up with Jacobs mix it up with Saunders, Canelo fighting Charlo, Triple G, rematching Jacobs. They're going to want to see all these mixing and matching these fighters that are at the top of the division, because there's just a bunch of good fights there. Saunders is in a good position because he's not going to be the type of B-side that could be rolled over. You know what I mean? He's going to be able to demand some respect in the negotiations table, especially after performance with Lemieux. He went to Canada, and I think a lot of boxing fans were woken up. They were woken up by that performance. They were like, holy shit, don't forget, there's a talent at 160 that we're underestimating. So, good job for Billy Joe Saunders. One of the things I really liked that he did was walk in with a game plan. I think that was the biggest difference between Lemieux and Billy Joe Saunders. Saunders walked in with a game plan. He stuck to it all 12 rounds. He knew what he was supposed to do. Lemieux, on the other hand, he winged it. He didn't have a plan. He was doing the same thing over and over again, even when it wasn't working. He was going based on instinct, very simple combinations. Every once in a while was thrown to the body, but at the end of the day, his combinations were very predictable. The variation of punches just was not there to confuse or even try to control the movement of Saunders, So one of the things I was looking at was also the type of advice that he was getting from the corner. And there was some good advice, I like that he was telling him, hey, when you throw, try to throw to the body. I get that. But I think that from round 2, there should have been an emphasis on closing off the ring. There should have been an emphasis on closing off the ring, and I really didn't hear that from his corner. And it seemed like just Lemieux and the corner had not seen Saunders fight before. Like, they didn't expect this to happen. There should have been combinations that they were working on that would help control the movement of Saunders, but they didn't work on any of that. So all he could do was just kind of like tell him, hey, throw more punches, aim at the body, just some super general shit, right? Instead of telling him, hey, that combination we worked on? I need you to pull it off in this round. Nothing. I have a feeling he walked in unprepared, and it showed. So, that's another thing that we don't really give too much credit to boxers is their strategy in the ring. Floyd Mayweather is known for coming up with strategies on the fly, but I guarantee you he does watch film. But, it seems like he absorbs all the information in the first few rounds, and then he's able to adapt. But there's a lot of fighters that, they walk in and they're open about having a game plan. They know what they're going to do when they go in there. And they're very meticulous with the type of sparring partners that they pick, and the size, the height, how fast they are, how they move, their mannerisms. They try to lock down the right sparring partner to the T to match their opponent. And usually when you put that much attention into your training, you're going to perform. What Lemieux did was completely lose every round, fail every fucking round. But it is what it is. We already knew that Lemieux isn't a good boxer. He's a terrible boxer. He can't stop a jab. he eats every jab thrown at him, And it is what it is. So congratulations to Billy Joe Saunders. He put on a good performance, excellent performance. And with that kind of performance, he can either beat or put on a very good show against any of the top middleweights. So we'll see what happens. Who do you guys want to see Billy Joe Saunders fight next? Do you think that, there's going to be a fight in between him actually getting the match with Triple G or Canelo? Do you think that this is something that he's going to shoot for as far as Triple G's next fight? Do you think that the Triple G Canelo rematch is going to happen? What do you guys think? There's a lot of going on. But yeah, this is pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to be doing another video talking about future fights coming up. So there's going to be plenty more videos coming up soon. This is Aztec 101 in the ring, and I'm out.